Fish are jumping out here. You can see the puddles starting, getting bigger. There's one right here to the right. I just saw one about 40 feet out. Here we are, day 5, book reading time for My Ancestor Speaks, the life, death, and spirit of Emmett Till. Here we are, this setting, much like what the Tallahatchie River looks like. Swampy in parts, deep ends, banks kind of close together. Tallahatchie River, that's where Emmett Till was found, August 28th. And here we are, imagination, at something likened to the Tallahatchie. I'm actually due to travel to Money, Mississippi to qualify all that I have researched and all that I will need under my belt to validate what I profess, and that is a lot of knowledge, not only through research but firsthand. So my destiny will be, in the coming weeks, a trip to Money, Mississippi. A lot to talk about. We have a whole month to do that. Every day there will be a reading, and please act as my beta readers, those people who have a preview of a book and they offer input, suggestions, comments. And given we are online using YouTube, it's not difficult at all to make a comment once you listen to and watch a video. And we also have a contest. I'll talk about that later. We have a contest going on. So the more you watch, the better opportunity to win. We covered part of the first chapter yesterday. Now we're going to delve into the middle of chapter 1. It begins like this. 1955, Money, Mississippi was a product of the larger Anglo-Saxon American-made socioeconomic machinery in America. Money, Mississippi, New York, California, Colorado, Missouri, etc. were all emblematic of a dogmatic resistance to humanistic virtue. And what I mean by that, the states have their own unique incidents of oppression. Jim Crow, of course, had its signature way to keep people segregated, but there were other states also. And New York, as an example, upstate New York had a very vibrant branch of an organization, our first hate group in the United States, with the 3 letters in a row, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, yes, and then 3 times that group, founded just 2 hours from where I'm reading right now, founded in Pulaski, Tennessee. Let's go on. During the time of Emmett Till in 1941, such was the way. Small minds hard-coded to protect the most bestial motives. It was not enough to exercise the seething errors of the ways which nurtured constitutions of senseless discrimination, prejudice, and murder. During the time of my ancestor Till's life, there was indeed the seemingly endless struggle and maltreatment endured at prices beyond his personally known interpret. This was until it was too late. Emmett Till appeared different from his southern peers and family in many ways. He was a respectful boy of parented southern roots, but the big city roots exposed Emmett Till in full view. In life, we are faced with conditions and choices from which we draw upon inner spirits to see us through a troublesome moment. It is within each moment that we are the masters of our destiny to channel valiance in the face of horror. Consider how many short years there were in the life of Emmett Till. Juxtapose that against his death, those final evening moments with his family and friends before he was awakened into a hell night. While in high school, I was awakened by members of the high school Letterman's Club. I had interviewed days earlier but had no clue about the next steps for membership. The next steps involved contacting my parents, alerting them that I would be taken away for several hours in the middle of the night and returned after sunup the next morning. So there I was, sound asleep with my eyes opened and body tense with a strange shock and disbelief. There were clamorings all around my bedroom telling me to hurry up and get dressed. They called what I was about to go through Hell Night. By the episode's end, I was battered and made into a walking mess of household condiments and eggs by the time I slithered out of a car and home. Unlike ancestor Till, by just the hint of an early morning sun, his hopes for living are simply being recognized as himself had long since been dashed. The other club initiates and myself were driven around for hours. During the course of that time, the car stopping was a signal the hell would begin again. That was the routine, hazing. If only ancestor Till would have gotten off with the hazing we received, and that was it. For him, there was the pain and agony of pure torture and drawn-out sadistic terror in many forms. He had the real night of hell, along with real-life monsters. The monsters who patented evil that summer night on poor Emmett Till, they a most degenerate and vile duo indeed. Emmett Till, in more contemporary times, in his strength of will and mettle, is an ancestor so vivid, so ripe for the taking of their life spirit offering. Now, I'm asking you to comment, and I'm commenting myself right now. This particular sentence will be tightened up. This is our rough draft, a second for me, and this one will be revisited, that particular sentence. Let's move on. It is my fullest honor to write about a childhood icon and hero named Emmett Lewis Till. His life has many commonalities with my own life. His life has many commonalities with my own life. Emmett Till is a family member, although no, we have never met in person. So my point there is that we are all family. We're not blood relatives, Emmett Till and I, but we are family. I feel a close bond to Emmett Till. Point made. Nor have I known his blood relatives. Still, he is like a relative to me, one who has the distinction of being an immortalized figure of the world. He is a royal African of America ancestor. There is such a thing as a spiritual connection with ancestors. It is strengthened by cultural identity that bridges a close relationship beyond the extensions of time and space. This is how ancestors can indeed work on the psyche. Relationships can flourish, and the relationship empowers and nurtures the likened soul, one ancestral and one still of the world, using the install of ancestral wisdom to win in life. The life of Emmett Till, a Chicago, Illinois boy, is a life that resonates 65 years later. I'll have to make sure the math is good on that, because this book started over a year and a half ago, and he is going to be 80 this year. 66 plus 14 is 80. So that will change from 65 to 66. If you did not know by now, new paragraph, now you shall know. Emmett Till was gruesomely tortured by demented minds and their tools of human destruction. A fine and gentle giant of a boy fell prey to the wiles of an American legacy of Southern hate and degradation. Next paragraph. Emmett Till was born in 1941 in the city of Chicago, Illinois. To today, it is still one of the most segregated cities in the United States of America. Ancestor Till grew up during the era of Jim Crow, but its tentacles were tempered by comparison to life for the American Negro of the South. To be young or old during this time meant the social economic predicament of having to survive under conditions designed to strip individuals of their base rights and human dignities would persist. The quality of life was unofficially and at the whim of a Southern oligarchy, immoral, unnatural to any human being identification. The social paths of the era created with zeal systemic and institutionalized dehumanization devices, sacrificing every fiber of Indian and African intellect, ingenuity, and humanism. All of these things were ignored for self-serving exploits, which included the transatlantic enslavement trade before the times of Till and his forefathers. Next paragraph. The legacy of American Jim Crow era, with its denial of civil rights, including voter rights, not an unfamiliar refrain from today. At this book's writing, there is plenty of argument politically about voter suppression. And again, this was written and gone over a year and a half ago, and it's still prevalent today, this voter suppression topic. In fact, next sentence, just one state south of this writing, Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams ran for office, and the United States is sort of still reeling after a week from the day the governor of Georgia signed into law a bill deemed improper and Jim Crow era politics revisited. Speaking of revisited, this last piece will be revisited too. Next paragraph. the 1955 incident involving the 14-year-old boy from Chicago, ancestor Emmett Till. Negroes were better known to be better equipped to deal with their imposed lots in life. It was a common acceptance that the American Negro was, generally speaking, in a troubled state down south. The hairy hand of unlaws and disorder was the norm and the stark reality for the American Negro. Legendary jazz and blues singer Billie Holiday in 1939 penned the song Strange Fruit. I will stop reading. We're going to pick up next time with this paragraph regarding Billie Holiday and Strange Fruit. Again, this is our book reading. Beta reading is what I would like you all to think of as you listen. Beta reader listening and commenting. And again, this is our second draft. After this will be a final edit, but there's loads to go. This book has about 8 chapters, 175 pages. I speak of this work as a book, but the enjoyment of having it as a quote-unquote audio book just from this exercise is rewarding, because in my view, using technology to disseminate information, whether it's visual or audible information and free information, means that just by going to YouTube, you'll have the essence of the book. I say essence because I'm not covering the entire book, but this practice for the next 30 days will give you a clear view about the substance to come in this book. My Ancestor Speaks, the life, death, and spirit of Emmett Till. And keep watching, keep remembering, and then you can possibly win a prize for recognizing from each video some object, thing, or image likened to the life and saga of ancestor Emmett Till. Here we are at the Imagination Tallahatchie River near Money, Mississippi. 3 days have gone by, and a boy fishing on the bank sees what he cannot discern.